You're going to see me mounting them up. You're going to see my thoughts and impressions out and about for a brief ride, just some highlights, and then a conclusion and my thoughts and something that made this upgrade a home run for me. Game changer. It was a total accident that I discovered it on day 2, my ride on day 2, that I tried something, and I want to share that. Mostly I want to share that with you guys for what it's worth. Enjoy. Okay, today is the day that I try the Grizzla Sync pads on the V14. There's been a little delay in me getting this done because I needed oversized backing plates, and I had only made one. It's been a while. But I mounted up this side. I'm going to mount up this side. Over here I had to take my cup holder off to make way. But what I'm going to do, because I don't know where I want to be. Well, I don't know if I'm going to like or continue to use these. So before I pull these pads off, I want to chalk out exactly where my Inmotion pads are sitting right now, which are dialed in. So I want to memorize where these were. So this here, you can buy this chalk stuff in crayon, pencil form, but these are like little Taylor discs for marking cloth. People who sew. They come in different colors. This is white. You can buy these on Amazon for cheap. I forget what they're called. Chalk markers for sewing, maybe. Easy to find. So mark them off like this. And then, oh my God, the Velcro is good. This is Grizzla Velcro on the fairing plates right now. I covered them entirely. I buy the Grizzla stuff by the foot. I think it's 6-inch wide. It's good stuff. Oh, I forgot to make a few reference marks. Let's mark off roughly where I want my shin. Roughly where I want my calf. And to the height, son of a bitch. So I'm just making reference marks of where I liked my toe height, my shin, and my calf. Make it a little easier. Go with that for now. And this for now. Okay. So this will be my starting position. my mount for my selfie stick. All right, I don't think there's gonna be a problem with the mount for that side. Sweet. All right, let's gear up and go for a ride. Give you my thoughts. I didn't go with the lighting package for these, which is where these red knobs, accent knobs are. That would be to hold additional lights. And they also have mounts here for brake lights. I didn't go that route. Not interested. Actually, I didn't even want these red reflectors, but must come with those by default. But anywho, let's gear up and go for a ride. Yeah, not bad. All right. So I can definitely jump the wheel easier. All right, welcome. All right, here we go, mic'd up, hopefully. Going out for a short ride. Try out these Grizzla Sync pads on the V14. So right off the bat, my initial concerns, I can tell, are gonna be being able to get the foot out of the wheel quick enough. So when you're doing slow moving little tricks, you just lose your balance for an instant. You need to get off the wheel without tripping yourself up. Headwind. Oh yeah. But leaning into them to accelerate. Oh. There's no denying that. Love the leaning. Love the ease of jumping the wheel. Can't go no wrong. Do no wrong. There's no slip off on the toe pad portion. Trying 25 PSI today. Yeah, I like the lean in. Super nice, super soft. And you don't feel like you need to keep your legs into the wheel because you've got so much pad real estate. There's no slipping out of these suckers. Actually, I might like these things more than I thought I was going to like them. Too cold for tennis. Feels and sounds weird. A lot of leaves, everything, all the hazards are covered. Alright, the camera's not picking this up. This is like really steep. I'm partially spinning out because of the leaves mostly. Sweet. Like these pads. Seem like because they're a little shorter in the height too, the pads I'm talking about. They are, take this camera out. I hate holding a selfie stick with these new gloves, e-ride gloves. So me see. So that's the foot is looking like. That's what I'm running for on space on the toe. That's the space that I feel like I need to get the foot in and out. And see how whereabouts they hit me in the shin? That's kind of like how high I like them. It's pretty good there. Not bad. Down. Bend the knees a little. Right down on the sync pad. It's nice. Very nice. Okay, my final thoughts and impression on the sync pads. Okay, so I absolutely love them, and I won't be taking them off going back to my previous setup. I'm going to keep these on there. But something that really changed for me, I don't know, for those of you who aren't familiar with the sync pads, is the shape of them. This is what they're about, but they, as much as they're a positive, they can be a negative, is the shape, the curvature. So this would be the brake pad, but the front is the same. So it wraps around your shin or your calf, if it's the brake, like a glove. I mean, it's actually pretty awesome, the way that it bites, grabs you. The problem is there's a little hook effect on the outer edge where it's curved, right? So when you go to take your foot out, it gets hung up right here. Now, it's not going to prevent you from coming out of the wheel if you crash, but if you're just making slow maneuvers, you lose your balance, you want to get a leg down, foot on the ground before you tilt the wheel or drop the wheel, you know, we're talking hundredths of a second. That little catch point right there is enough to make you lose your balance. For me anyway. Combined with, you know, if you're using aggressive pegs on whatever foot plates you're running, foot pedals, it's already pretty grippy as it is, especially if you have a lot of contact area on your shoes. Trying to get your foot out quick is all, for me anyway, is easy to get hung up with the pedals alone, let alone the introduction of a new obstacle. So while I was out riding, I was trying to develop a new way of getting out of the wheel by bringing my foot back and then out. But what would happen is I would bring my foot back, and then the back brake pad also is hooked. So then you would get your calf a little hung up coming out. So it was kind of like a no-win situation. I had to find a happy medium, moving this pad maybe a little bit more forward than I wanted, a little bit more higher on the toe box. I finally found a happy medium where I could comfortably jump the wheel, which is awesome. When you jump, there's no slipping out of this when you go to bring the wheel up in the air. It's like a positive grab. You don't have to worry about slipping out of it. When you're using these, they're so big and meaty that you don't have to worry about tucking your leg against the wheel for fear of slipping off of the power pad. All of those things are gone now with the sync pad. It gives you that additional confidence that you're not going to slip out of the power pads, which is really nice. You don't realize how nice until you use them. I personally like them because they're short. You could put them higher, but I like this freedom up here with the knee getting deeper into the wheel, lower center of gravity, makes it easier for carving. It's just a pleasure, it really is a pleasure. And you don't realize until you actually use them. And these are, not sure if you can see. Yeah, okay, this is, let me show. These are 2 pieces. So what makes these so comfortable is the base is one material. Okay, camera screen keeps shutting off. This base is a higher density, stiffer material. And then there's a liner, separate component, which is soft foam, much softer than the outer structure. This is what allows it to be rigid in structure, but super comfortable. Well done. Really, really well done. High quality stuff. So they're super comfortable. This is where I've had to move them. You will move them for the first time, you know, half a dozen times before I found where I liked them. But the one reservation I had was getting hung up coming out of the wheel just sometimes, you know, not all the time. You know, if you don't come out just right, it's easy to get hooked up. And like I said, it doesn't take much to just throw yourself off where you lose your balance and you might go down. So on the second, I think the second day, I was going trail riding where I had to like be going like no more than 5 miles an hour through slow moving, navigating between obstacles that you can't climb over. And I thought, I wonder if I change the brake pad so that when I pull my foot a little forward, it'll come right out and not get hung up on the brake pad. So I just so happened, and this worked out for me because I have the Flow brake pads off of my Patent S. I use the Flow pads on the Patent S. Not sure if the camera's picking this up. The front Flow pad on the Patent S I like, but I didn't like it on the brake pad because on the Patent S, trying to do this with one hand. On the Patent S, or on any Leaperkin for that matter, the way they mount the rear handle hardware and the kickstand, they surface mount it on top of the battery box, which is just a knuckle area that you have to deal with your rear power pad. For me, it's always the rear. The front, I always have enough real estate. It's always the rear pad that's the problem for me. So using the Flow pad was just, I just needed to cut it out and butcher it too much to use it, so I didn't. I'm using this brake pad, which kind of fits perfect. I only had to notch just a little bit of each corner and make a 1-inch extension. And this works perfect. I have no interest in changing it. So I had the Flow pads, the brake Flow pads in my collection of EUC stuff. And for shits and giggles, I threw them on there, went out for the technical trails ride, and found that I could get my foot in and out instantly without worrying or fear of getting just caught up on this nice edge. So this nice edge is, like I say, it's a beautiful thing, but it can be, that's the one knock, is just getting a little caught up trying to get your foot out. So for me, changing this brake pad changed the dynamic entirely for me, completely. Love the height of it, and coincidentally, this was not the plan, but coincidentally, my riding shoe Do I want this one? I use high tops. Should always think about ankle protection, because if the wheel goes down on you, you ain't gonna survive an ankle injury. Okay, so when I jump, this isn't for everybody, but when I jump, just me, I like the toe, the heel, to catch almost as well as the front part of the pad so that the wheel comes up straight. On the Sync rear pad, the shape of it, this is the wrong side for that. So the shape of it on the bottom curls, curls down this way, comes more to a point, whereas and it's tapered upward from the side profile. It tapers upward, whereas I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up. Yeah, whereas on the flow pad it's square, right, and it doesn't flare up this way, so it's straight, and it has kind of a nice blunt 90-degree snub right here. This just bites my heel better for jumping, only for jumping. So that's a coincidence that just worked out perfect for me, that I love. The height's perfect. It doesn't take up any more or less real estate. That's about the same. And I'm loving them. They're absolutely staying on the wheel. And I learned something else too. When I ordered these, or when I've ordered Grizzla, generally you order them in sets. I just found out this morning, because I went to order another pair. Well, I want to get another pair for the Pat desk. And long and behold, you can mix and match on the website. If you go to the Grizzla website, you'll now see you can buy just a front sync pad, and not on all of them, but you can actually buy just a rear flow pad. So obviously I'm not the only one that's been flirting with mixing and matching your pads, but pertaining specifically to the sync pads, I thought may be helpful for those of you out there who haven't, or on the fence about thinking about getting the sync pads. I can highly recommend them. I don't see myself ever going back. This setup's going to stay on the wheel for certain. And like I say, I'm going to be getting another set for the patent desk. Hope this is helpful to you. Any comments, feel free to leave them. If there's anything I left out, let me know. Hopefully you got something out of this. Thanks for watching. Too funny. So here's the Grizzla website now. This would be the sync kit that I bought. Since they've come out with little extension pads. Let's see how you can buy pairs or singles. So now this just changed. Now I would buy a front sync and a rear flow. Game changer. So now you're not stuck buying pairs. You can buy what you want. Just thought I'd share that.